Me, Cubans are the whitest of all Hispanics.
Almost 50,000 Cubans from the Miami area in Florida are facing deportations. That's because thousands of those Cubans filed for political asylum and were granted political asylum, except they went back and visited their homeland of Cuba. Well, the big deal is that when you file for political asylum, you're declaring that your life is in danger in your home country. And by these Cubans going back to Cuba to visit, that means that the entire process of the political asylum was fraud. The application asked for political asylum seekers to give detail of why they can't go back to their country, why their lives are in danger in their homeland. And Cubans gave those statements that their life was in danger if they ever went back to Cuba. So going back to visit Cuba after you've been granted political asylum indicates that these Cubans have been granted political asylum based on false information. Now, it's no secret, Cubans played a huge role on the re-election of Donald Trump. And a lot of them feel let down by this administration because now they're being sent back home. So I'm going to ask all the Latino community, and I will do the same, to please hold a moment of silence for the thousands of Cubans who now are going to be forced to go back to the island. So anyway,
Trump supporters are now upset with Donald Trump's immigration policies because they are directly affecting them and their families. Now, this is specifically Cuban American Trump supporters who thought likely that Donald Trump's policies wouldn't affect them at all. It would only affect people that didn't like Trump, that he didn't like, but not them. Take a look at what Congresswoman Salazar had to say, who is a Cuban American and a Trump supporter. I'm urging Homeland Security to protect Cubans awaiting legal status adjustment through the Cuban Adjustment Act. Don't penalize them for Biden's screw-ups. Well, I have news for you, Ms. Salazar. This is not Biden who is doing this. This is happening to your constituents, their family members, to Cubans looking to come to America because of Donald Trump. You campaigned alongside him. He told you what he was going to do, and it was going to affect everybody. Now, I, for one, actually feel bad for the people who want to come here and have a better life. But for the people who voted for Donald Trump, this is what you get. Welcome to the find out phase. Hope you enjoy your stay.
Hello good people, how are you doing? I hope you're doing great. This is Weekend Africa and I'm your host Bemo. So today I'd like us to talk about the FFO season that is going on right now in the United States of America, and there are a couple of videos that I bumped into on TikTok, and it was about the mass deportations of Cubans from Florida. The Cubans were being deported. So and something that has been really disturbing my mind is during the campaigns for the presidential seat in the United States, there were these we had these Cubans who had banners and placards written Cubans for Trump, and Trump is deporting Cubans who are seeking asylum in the United States of America. And Cubans for Trump, they can't believe their eyes, and they're asking him to be easy on them. So about 50,000 Cubans have been affected by this, and many of those who had seek asylum through a Cuban Adjustment Act went back home to greet and meet their families, and now they are at risk of losing this privilege. So I don't want to talk much about it, but I want us to watch this video and let us resonate with these different speakers. Let us listen to them, and then I'll be back with a commentary video. But before that, kindly, if you're new to this channel, if this is the first time watching this video, I'll ask you most definitely to subscribe to this channel. All right, after you've done that, don't forget to hit the like button. Don't forget to leave a comment. Remember to turn on post notifications so that every time I post a new video, you'll be the first one to get notified and get to watch it. Let us get down to the video.
As you may have heard, many Cubans with permanent residency may now be facing deportation after having returned to Cuba with their permanent residence card. And this is because when you file for asylum and you are granted asylum, and many of these individuals obtain their permanent residency after seeking asylum successfully, they are essentially saying that they're scared to return to their home country. And so when they did return to Cuba, now they are being flagged for committing fraud. And if in fact you travel back to your home country, whether you're from Cuba or not, if you have asylum granted and you are now a permanent resident, you should be very, very wary of traveling back to your home country and not being placed in secondary inspection when you re-enter the United States. It is obvious that you're going to be flagged, and I've been saying this for many years. You shouldn't even travel back if you are a U.S. citizen and you became a U.S. citizen by way of permanent residency, by way of an asylum granted. At any point, you are subject to a review of that. And if it is determined that you became a U.S. citizen through fraud or a permanent resident through fraud, they can try and place you in removal proceedings to take away your citizenship and or your permanent residency. So let this be a warning for anybody considering returning to your home country after affirmatively and successfully getting asylum in the United States, because this will likely flag immigration and give them a reason to place you in removal proceedings in an attempt to strip you of your status.
No, it's not funny. It's really not funny. I'm not laughing because it's funny. It's just very ironic and crazy how can I say this? Throughout the election, I saw so many Cubans, Venezuelan, a bunch of Latinos saying with their whole chest, not voting for Kamala. There was this guy even that he was getting harassed by his neighbor that didn't even want him around, but he carried his Trump flag, proud to vote for Trump. But I just wanted to come out here and let them know and ask if they have seen Trump's plan. Have they seen who Trump have elected to run the immigration and his plan for the mass deportation? He has elected the two most anti-immigrant that he could possibly find. And did you see that he has announced that he's gonna cancel the CBP 1 and the humanitarian parole? Do you know who that affects? Do you know who that affects? Do you know where he's planning on sending you coming January? He actually even warned you guys to pack your bag and save him the time and save you for humiliation. I don't know if you guys are following everything that's happening. I mean, I would hope you'll be following because that affects you directly. But what bothers me is the fact that you truly did not believe that Trump would carry his plan. You did not. And that blows my mind. It makes absolutely no sense for you guys to sit and say, afraid of socialist dictator, and you turned around and voted for one. Anyway, good morning.
For those that know me well, I'm a very political guy, and anyway, so I was reading this article where the Cuban community was outraged because a Cuban citizen was being deported back to Cuba, and I just couldn't help it but to just wonder, now that laws are changing on immigration, and Cubans will be treated just like everybody else that comes to the United States, and wants asylum and refugee, whatever you want to call that, have to go through the entire process just like everybody else. Are those Cubans from Florida, whatever you want to call it, gonna change their mind and their views on immigration now that they will be treated no different, even though, you know, those Cuban Americans feel like they're the shit and they feel like no other immigrants should come to the United States illegally, but their grandparents did. My question is, are they gonna change the way they vote in Florida? Because yeah, I'm sure they have family in Cuba, just like we all do back in our homes, you know. Are they gonna change their views on immigration, on the immigration laws, and change the way they vote, or are they just gonna continue to vote for this dumbass Marco Rubio and the other guy, dos Santos, whatever the fuck his name is? Are they gonna change the way they vote, or they're just gonna be like, whatever, we here, we got papers, we citizens, we don't give a fuck about them Cubans from Cuba? Anyways, I was just wondering, but yeah, I'm just glad that in some way everybody, you know, if I have to follow the process or I gotta get deported because I'm Mexican, you know, shit, everybody else needs to be treated the same. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, we're all looking for a better life, and I know it's wrong to get deported because most of the people, I'm not gonna say it all, but 90% of the people that come to this country illegally or legally are looking for the same thing, looking for a better life. But you know, it just really irritates me that, you know, all these Cubans from Florida, you know, they're like, oh, American citizen, my fit is dry, deport everybody else, not close the borders, you know. Anyway.
Hello folks, welcome back to the channel. This is Weekend Africa and I'm your host Bemo. So I know most of you, maybe you might be asking yourselves, how did Cubans got themselves in the United States? Some of them went there legally and some of them went there illegally. Some of them went there seeking asylum. And maybe you might be asking yourself, what is this asylum? So asylum, someone who is seeking asylum is someone who is seeking refuge, either politically or maybe because of war, or maybe this person, his or her life is in danger. So this person will go to a country and ask them that my life is in danger, so I would like you to protect me. So that is the case of what happened in the United States for the Cubans. So most of them were saying that their lives were in danger. But how do you flee persecution, meaning that your life is in danger, and then you go back home to greet and meet your family and friends? So maybe you just missed them, fine, but again, Trump has promised you that, you know what, the first day get into office, I'll deport all the brownies, I'll deport all the immigrants. And what do you choose to do? You choose to vote against the Democrats. You choose to vote for Trump, someone who told you that I will deport you. He was very clear, he was very sincere from the very first day that if I get into office, I will deport all the illegal immigrants. But what happened? What ran into the minds of these Cubans, Venezuelans, and Latinos? They knew that illegal immigrants are people of the black melanin, all right, are people of the black color. They knew that illegal immigrants were only Africans, so they thought that they were immune to these Trump's deportations, right? But now they are seeing it. So as I was saying, when you have been given asylum in the United States and you decide to go back home to greet and meet your family or friends, when you do that, you regard it to as have obtained your citizenship through fraud. Therefore, losing your citizenship and permanent residency in the U.S. Because if you're a refugee in the U.S. and you choose to go back home, then when you come back, these federal agents are forced to validate you are you are genuine, you are they are forced to validate your rightful stay in the United States. Are you staying in the United States genuinely, or are you an agent? Because if they sense that you're an agent, you are on the verge of losing your citizenship and permanent residency in the United States. So some black folks and other groups have been trying to make fun of these Latinos and these Venezuelans, the Cubans. They've been telling them that while you went to the ballot to vote, you guys left your brains at home. Hilarious. And it's so funny how most of these Latinos, Cubans, Venezuelans were saying they wanted to they were not going to vote for Kamala. They were not going to vote for Kamala. They didn't want to vote for her. They wanted to vote for Trump because they thought they were immune to these they were immune to these Trump's policies on deportation. And as I was going through the comments, I saw a comment by Starship Gray was saying that Florida's Cubans can always be counted on to vote against their own interests. And this one baffles me, because how are you going to vote against your own interests? All right, Cuban, Venezuela, Mexicans, Colombians, any Latinos that voted for Trump, goodbye. That is Todd 09D. These comments are so hilarious. You know, Cubans, Colombians, and Venezuelans think they are white. They found out quick. Florida a dictatorship state. Hello, Miami Cubans. Please tell us just how you love Mr. Trump. Right? These comments are so hilarious. And by the way, something that these people are forgetting is Trump is said to cancel the CBP-1 and humanitarian parole. So they are going to face the music. This is the bed that they made, and they must lie on it. This is FAFO season, my people. So I don't know what's your take on this, but if you come from let's say you come from the United States, maybe you are in maybe you're in Canada, you're in Australia, you're in UK, maybe you're in Africa, what's your take on this? Because our brothers and sisters from Cuba are really suffering in Florida and Miami. I don't know what's your take, but I'd like us to have a conversation in the comments. And most definitely, if this is your first time watching this video, kindly consider subscribing, leave a comment, hit that like button, and don't forget to turn on post notifications, that anytime I post a new video, you'll be the first person to get notified. This is Awaken Africa, and I'm your host, Bemo. Let us meet in the next video. Peace out.